an associate dean for research, and also what I'm an associate professor and heading computer applications department in the Basic Science and Technology University. And you can note my email ID, Aradhya at jsstuni.in. So anytime you can write to me if you have any queries regarding artificial intelligence and IoT. So this is my presentation. So I'll be talking and discussing various aspects with respect to the artificial intelligence, especially with respect to the agriculture sector. The first point I would like to give insight with respect to the motivation. Why exactly and why you require artificial intelligence and IoT in agriculture. And also what emphasized on AI and IoT in agriculture. And after that, so probably we'll try to see what exactly the researchers are talking. And finally, what we'll see some of the things with respect to the challenges and future scope that do exist in AI and IoT. So the first slide is very important because it's something like what's the grand challenge and motivation. I mentioned in my inaugural address, like the world's population is now in 2021 is currently around 7.5 billion people living on this earth. And the other worry is that in 2050, probably it may reach around 9.5 to 10 billion people. Now you see the difference. We are in 2020, 21, something like that, and another 30 years down the line. So we'll be having around 20 to 25% of what population will be developed. So it's something like 7.5 to nearly 9.5 or 10 billion people. And the worry is something like, very importantly, the food supply. The traditional way the tradition forming what is happening today, so really probably it is very difficult to meet the demand that really wanted in 2050. So the first point is that the food supply. The greater challenge is that we have to meet that food supply in 2050 for 10 billion people. And you can ask me so probably now we have some sufficient, of course. But when we have 2.5 billion people added, and we have very, very little of landscape, it's something like only 4% additional land you will get for cultivation or something like that. In down the year, 30 years down. And so probably this is a grand challenge. And so probably the traditional way of farming, what we are doing currently, of course, is really very difficult for the people to really meet that challenge. And now the introduction of the idea of artificial intelligence and combining with respect to aggregation with respect to the IoT is somewhat so probably we can think like we can meet that demand, so probably down the lines in 30 years. Friends, I will tell you, the key idea is that supply. But the another challenge is that can we really meet that challenge? What challenge? Probably it's not that easy, because hundreds of research papers are doing and finally showing the report saying that the idea of artificial intelligence, with respect to the agriculture sector, and also the idea of Internet of Things with respect to the agriculture sector. And we are doing and we are seeing that in very in the countries especially developed countries like Israel or something like that, in China of course. So especially the worry with respect to the Indian scenario as well. And of course 70% or 80% of the total economy of course in India is also lies with respect to agriculture sector. I mentioned that. Of course, after the defense, if you take, so probably the second sector that really looking with respect to the economical side is with respect to only the agriculture sector. And another worry what we have is that if you consider the total workers in India and what compare with respect to what agriculture workers, every year it is keeping down. In 2011 it was 52%, now it has come to 40%. In 2021 recently it was saying that. So finally what you can see the labor what short in the labors. So probably most of the in agriculture, like in urban, in rural areas, you can see most of the agriculture workers are just shifting to urban and doing their needs, etc., etc. And of course we have a great challenge with respect to labor as well. And of course also with respect to the cost and all. Anyhow, we'll come to that little later and finally we'll see. So the grand challenge is what? The food supply. And so of course we have to meet that one. And so probably that is the prime motivation to really look into the artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. So probably how we can really make this open, and finally how we can meet this challenge with respect to the agriculture concern. So I will just take a couple of 1 or 2 minutes to describe the power of machine learning and artificial intelligence. I told in very recently, like this AI term is everywhere. All in our pocket AI is there. When you talk about smart the mobile, so probably AI is there. You can't name, like wherever you go, wherever you do, whatever you do, so probably AI is behind. And when you talk about the applications of AI, probably you can see like in every sector we have a strong foundations with respect to the artificial intelligence. It is connected to one or the other applications, and finally it is giving some sort of results. You take about healthcare, you take about astronomy, you very importantly you take about the entertainment, it's nothing but gaming, you take about finance, you talk about data security. I was very much worried about the social media. Something like Facebook, what we do, internet, Instagram, LinkedIn, or whatever the applications or the platform do exist. These days very demanding, of course the very challenges also with respect to the automotive because of selfless car, they're making, or the pilotless vehicle, they are making, or whatever so. And robotics, of course for the entertainment purpose, also with respect to helping in many of the medical society, entertainment, e-commerce, Flipkart, you take Amazon or whatever so, educations, and very important retail. So probably if you look down all the applications that do exist with respect to the AI, and of course we have a real challenge at the same time also we have some sort of results is also coming with respect to the AI, with respect to all these applications. If you really look into the finance, you can ask me like how exactly it is helping with respect to the finance. So probably you can take with respect to the loan processing system or something like stock exchange or whatever so. So probably everything is machine learning and artificial intelligence. If real research is really also going with respect to the finance sector, especially when you talk about stock markets or something like that. And automotive, I told like selfless car. We don't want any humans, especially in Dubai in 2025 they are launching like for cabs and all. There will be no drivers. Automatically it has to reach the destination, arrive at the position, and finally it has to produce all these services. So probably down the line another 3 years we can see some sort of selfless car. That is happening with respect to the automotive industries. And agriculture, of course, great deal of research is going on. Probably, of course, a challenge I do tell, and at the same time, we also getting some of the good results with respect to the AI. Coming to the life cycle of an agriculture. All starts from the preparation of soil to the storage. And each phase which I am showing here, so probably we have some challenges, and so probably we have to rectify those challenges and we have to come forward. So the first time is for preparation of soil. So what exactly we are want to say is that preparation of soil is that we are ready for sowing the seeds, right? Before sowing the seeds, so probably what it has to be first, it has to be prepared well. We have to remove all the weeds. We have to clump some sort of rocks available, some muds available inside, etc. And finally, what we have to also add some sort of fertilizers to start with the preparation of soil. Of course, a great real challenge do exist. So probably the first stage is what the preparation of soil, and the second is sowing of seeds. Here, what the key idea of what traditional farming, yeah, is fine. Preparation of soil, that the human is there, he does all the things, and finally coming into the sowing of soil. So probably everything is what human did. But now the idea is that intelligence, like something like how really what artificial intelligence can really help in doing all such problems. Sowing of seeds is nothing but giving a distance from one plant to another plant. You have to sow the seeds and give the proper distance. That's how it all meant with respect to the sowing of seeds. And whatever the technology we have developed and whatever the algorithm we develop, so probably we have to keep in mind, like the distance between one plant to another plant should be very proper, and finally we have to get prepared with all the seeds and also with respect to the soil. Once it is done, so probably whatever the cultivation or whatever the product we get, so probably it will be very good. And after that, we have adding fertilizers. Of course, a very, very important. Fertilizer is something like that human does. Now the thing is that how we can train a system to add some sort of fertilizers into a plant. Of course, this stage, so probably very, very important, like a current amount of fertilizer that should be added to the plant is a very, very important and challenge, right? Even it cannot be extra, or even it can be low. So probably the current amount of fertilizer that do add with respect to plant is of course a very challenging one. And coming to the irrigation. So of course, water irrigation, everyone knows about it. And we want to feed plant with the right amount of irrigation. Even at the same time, it cannot be more or it cannot be less. And at the same time, even if it is more, it is a problem. Even if it is less, it's a problem. And so finally, it should be in a proper way, and the alignment should be very, very correct. And finally, once this irrigation is done and it comes to the protection, now the real challenge is all with respect to the diseases. The main cause for the diseases is the climate change and the weather. Of course, with respect to the varying weathers. Today, probably down the year 2 years, I am seeing the weather that's happening with respect to the Indian area or in the world is usually in a different way. Down the 2020s, 2020, 21, 22, now we are in 2022. So probably we can see a lot of weather changes with respect to thing, and a lot of floods, and we expect some rain, so probably it doesn't come. We accept it's a sunny day, so finally it is a rain. So probably a real challenge with respect to a farmer. So tackling these protections, of course, a great deal of research is happening, and especially when you talk about protection is also with respect to the weeds, unwanted weeds that grow in between the plants. Of course, that also if it continues, so probably it also yields less crop thing. And harvesting after protection, finally it is the stage to cut it. So in Israel and all, in developed countries, everything is automated. I think you have a couple of students have seen the megastructure. I have seen megastructure in National Geographic Channel. So harvesting are done with respect to the huge landscape, like 100 acres, 200 acres and all. There is no human, absolutely no humans. Everything does with respect to the systems of the robots. And also sorting, like tomato sorting or apple sorting or whatever the sorting, like even the potato or something like that. So there is what machines does, and of course at the great speed it does it. The conveyor belt is something like this huge, this wide conveyor belt is there with respect to the autonomous system is there. and what the objects will be coming in a very fast manner, and finally what there are the system to identify and discriminate the good one and the bad ones. So probably that is what the research happening with respect to Israel. Israel is very good for the autonomous, especially with respect to the agriculture. And lastly, the storage. Of course, we really want to protect it well, store it well for all the climatic conditions that's been happening in and around. Okay. So this is what the agriculture life cycle. So starting with the preparation of soil to sowing seeds, irrigation, harvesting, and finally storage. So what is the challenge? As I mentioned, the traditional challenge is something like climatic factors. Very, very important. So rainfall, you have a huge temperature. Sometimes in the morning it is huge, in the afternoon it's a bit low, and again it will what at for 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock again it will be high, and you have a humid, which plays an important role in the agricultural life cycle. So all these rainfall, temperature, and humidity, of course, plays a very, very important role in what agriculture life cycle. And specific nutrition in the soil. And these days, for the reason something like climate change, and also with respect to the industry, like the pollution that is coming with respect to the industries, of course, there is no much what nutrition that is getting from the soil. That's of course a very, very important, and finally that's again the challenge that the traditional farming is happening. And wheat production. I told very clearly that protecting this wheat, of course, a real challenge. And in between the plants, so probably if we get into that, pitch into that so probably there will be a lot of difficulties with respect to what the cultivation time or the harvesting time. Okay. Now let's look into the applications, different applications of AI in agriculture. I have taken from the Homes Wipro. So this slide is quite available, and of course the famous, and of course many of the industries are looking into what agriculture sector, and they are also developing what some of the very important applications with respect to the agriculture. So crop yield predictions and price forecasting, intelligent spraying, of course you need it. It is also what reduces the cost. The main purpose of what intelligent spraying is that reducing the cost. And proper amount of what spray should be what handled to the single plant. And predictive insights, right time should show the seeds, agriculture robots, crop and soil management or monitoring, and finally the disease diagnosis. So these are some of the applications related to what agriculture, especially in terms of artificial intelligence. So the crop yield predictions and price forecasting. Of course, price forecasting is very, very difficult. Today, tomato rate is what? 20 rupees. All of a sudden, it comes to 80 rupees and 100 rupees. And some days, there are some cases where farmers simply follow all the tomatoes. They don't want to give to the end user. So simply for the rate change. Finally, it comes to 1 rupee or 2 rupees. So the price forecasting, of course, is very, very difficult, and of course, a challenging one. And very important, what is that, like demand and supply. When there is a huge demand, there will be no supply. You have a lot of supply, and finally, there is no takers. That's happening. So because of these, so probably what you should really understand, and finally tell like what will be the price forecast with respect to whatever the crops you have eat. Okay. So intelligence spraying, of course, very, very important. Like all these, like when you talk about artificial intelligence or IoT, what is the end point? End point is something like that. It should really make benefit to the farmer. That's it. In one way or the other way, it should really help the farmers to make some profitability. That's it. That's the main agenda of artificial intelligence getting into it, or the IoT getting into it. Okay. So crop and soil monitoring. So AI and ML, we can also monitor the crop health for diagnosing pests, soil defects, nutrient deficiency in soil, etc. So probably in the first stage, let's take an example. In the earlier stage, if you identify all those things, so probably we can get a good yield, right? Agriculture robots, And at the time, like normally what we use, for harvesting and all, we use human beings, right? So individuals are there, we use some laborers, and finally use some harvesting. So probably there are robots where you can also harvest with respect to the fruits, vegetables, and many more, something like that, like tomatoes, apple, strawberry harvesting, or whatever. So probably whichever the fruit you take, so probably there are a couple of robots already developed. So probably identifies, and finally what the challenge is that it has to identify whether it is a stage to cut, and finally it has to move. So that is again the very, very important point. Okay, and disease diagnosis. Plant disease is really I will show a couple of slides where I have brought some diseases that really affects and many more worry to the farmers. So probably disease diagnosis at the earliest stage, if you make it clear, so probably it helps the farmers in a much better way. Of course, another applications I have taken from IoT in field condition management, soil health and water management, I told. Livestock management is something like that, you understand the behavior of the animals. Livestock management, cattle, chickens, etc. And crop management, monitoring crop, identifying diseases, weed control, and weather forecasting. Of course, another application. Very important is the precision in agriculture. The main aim of the precision agriculture is the management, and also making profit. So in such a way that how I can yield crop in a better way, how I can make profit, all this can be understood with respect to precision agriculture. These days precision agriculture really helps in handling labor shortage. That's a very, very important key idea. That when you talk about precision agriculture, it's all with respect to handling labor shortage. I don't want to keep any human being to cut doing all such things. So probably let us try to work with robots or something like that. It really helps my need. Okay. Agriculture chatbots. Of course, I think many aware with respect to chatbots, which helps the farmers in a much better way. It will be interacted with the government, agencies or different organizations. So probably whatever the doubts you have, you can ask on the line. Something like that, and finally you will get the you will get the reply within no time, and finally we can add. That is the idea of chatbots, agriculture chatbots. So let us try to understand various applications which I told, which one or two, and finally we'll touch about what people are really doing with respect to these applications. Use of weather forecasting, I told, it was all with respect to the change in climatic conditions, and also increasing pollution. Especially with respect to the industry. There are a lot of pollution it is getting from the industry perspective, and so probably that is one point. Another very important point is the climatic condition. And it is quite difficult for farmers to determine the right time of sowing seed. Sowing seed is a very, very important point. A particular time you really require to understand, especially you don't have any climatic condition change in the climatic condition. If you all really come out of these conditions and pollution, so probably you have a time to sow seeds, and finally, so probably you can yield a good result. So with artificial intelligence, farmer can analyze weather conditions by using weather forecasting, which helps to play a type of crop can be grown and when to use this source. So that is how where the artificial intelligence is helping you. Probably today, even yesterday, what I did was that I wanted to know the temperature of Coimbatore, because I have to carry some extra stuff. If it is a chilly, if it is a rainy or so, probably I have to carry umbrella or something. I just opened my mobile and then I gave weather conditioning Coimbatore. That's it. Within a fraction of a second, it told that it's 35 or 26. And you have a huge humidity of 82%. Yeah, then I was just neglected all the stuff which I wanted to borrow, like umbrella, etc., and finally. So that is what really very important is that. I want to know what the weather forecasting, what tomorrow or day after tomorrow or after 1 week, what condition of weather. If it is that so probably that really helps the farmers. Earlier we didn't have this condition. Even there are applications where it will tell at 4 o'clock whether there will be rain in Coimbatore or not. It gives all sort of notification. It gives all sort of notification. Really helps what individuals to take decisions, right? So here, what is happening is that in order to take decisions, so probably weather forecasting helps a lot. Your primary focus is what? You want to sow seeds. What is the right time? So probably what you have to know whether the climatic condition changes or not. So probably if you know earlier period, so probably what? I can do it very well. Right? Soil and crop health monitoring system. Soil and crop health monitoring system. So the type of soil and nutrition of soil plays a very important factor, and the type of crop you grow and the quality of the crop that you probably yields. And there are a couple of what researchers or the organization that's already what doing some sort of what work with respect to soil and crop health. So there is a what organization called startup, actually this is a startup called PEAT, which has developed a AI-based application called Plantix that can identify nutrient deficiency in soil. That really helps, right? So you are what in land, and so finally you feel that okay, there is lack of nutrition or something like that. So probably what you can take some steps of what you can take some action. So probably to improve the soil condition, right? And also what it helps what diseases by which the farmers can get an idea to use fertilizer, which helps to improve our harvesting. So this is what application of the industry really helping what identifying some sort of what knowing like the type of soil, whether it is a nutrient or whether you want some addition, what nutrition should be added or something like that, and also what it identifies the pests and diseases with respect to the what plants. And we have another one called trace genomics, which helps farmers to do soil analysis to farmers. So you take, there are what industries where what you go take some soil and you do it, hand over to it. They will do some sort of analysis. They will tell, okay, what is the quality of the soil, what you want, what amount of what fertilizers should be added to the what soil or something like that. So probably everything end result is the same. What is the end result? You want to improve that quality. That's it. Finally, for that activities, so trace genomics also what helps in many ways. Very exciting what technologies drones. Probably these days, drones is taking into different directions and different activities, right? And the drone-based what aerial imaging solutions, of course, a great demand in what coming years. And so probably we have seen from last few years the applications of drone, and also what it is. I'm not talking only about drones with respect to the agriculture sector, it is also with respect to entertainment, it is also with respect to many other what like medical emergencies. Very recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was inaugurated the drone that facilitates in the flood situations or something like that, where you can carry a human being of certain weight and you can lift from one position to another position. That is what the technology today we also see. And here like the main purpose of drone is that it helps in many ways. First is understanding the what ground the reality, and also what very importantly and what helping with respect to spray, right? Fertilizer spray. So probably what you require a human being to what do all sort of what spraying or something like that. We can do it in a very great amount of time. At the same time, what the amount of the fertilizers or the pesticides should be added is very, very important. In that way, so probably it is helping very much in applications of agriculture. And algorithms analyze the captured images and provide a detailed report containing the current health of the farm. So probably what is happening? So you drive a drone, and finally understand what it takes the images. Finally, when it takes the images, what it understands what is the condition of the farm. And finally, once it is done, so probably what it goes to the next step, and finally it does the other parts. And also helps the farmer to identify pests and bacteria, and also what uses what like pest control and other methods to what required actions. So this is what with respect to the drone analyzing crops. So another very important I was telling you. Intelligent spraying of chemicals. What is very, very important when you talk about this one? It brings cost savings. That is the ultimate aim. The ultimate aim of what spraying is that, intelligent spraying is that, obviously I can reduce some cost. So obviously what helps the farmers in a better way. So AI technology helps in detecting diseases in plants, pest and food nutrition of farms. And AI sensor can detect and target weeds. And also AI sprayers can drastically reduce the number of chemicals used in the fields and thus improve the quality of air. So let's take an example. Many a time when we talk about what humans, so probably there will be a loss. There will be a loss. Let's take an example. You buy 1 liter of spray. So probably what you utilize all. If you apply with respect to the intelligent spraying, so probably